Hi, I'm Angela Wolf, fashion designer, author, and online instructor. And today I'm going to talk about restyling garments. All right, here is a one for you. Check out this sleeve. Well, I know this was on trend a while ago, but it's not anymore. So here are a few ideas for you. Turning a jacket into a vest. That's what I did to this one. I took off the sleeves and added a faux suede trim. How cute is that now? This would look great with a high-waisted pair of pants and I would be right on trend. Okay, how about this one here? This I got on a sale rack. I had a weak moment. And it's a bit flowery. So what are we gonna do? Same thing. So I'm gonna remove the sleeves. I already did this for you, but I'll give you a closer look here. The jacket is fully lined. All I did was rip out the stitches for the lining and the jacket and took out the shoulder pads. So there we go. Now, how am I gonna finish this off? You have a few options. Here's bias trim, bias tape. I could sew this to the seam and it would simply fold over and I would be finished, top stitching. On that other vest, I used trim this is a stretch fabric. It's faux suede. So for those of you that know about bias trim, when you connect bias trim, I'm just gonna grab another end here. Usually, you cannot just add it like this and stitch across. It's more of a diagonal. Well, I'm gonna show you a fast way to do it with your self trim, which is this. It's stretch fabric. You could use a knit, you could use anything you want. And we're gonna sew all the way around and be able to attach it just like this. So let's go back over here to the jacket. First, if I could go ahead and add the trim here, and this would run out right to the edge of my shoulders. Well, let's flip her around. This would always freak out clients when I would do this on them. I have my hand behind, so if you're doing this on a person, don't cut them. I'm just gonna cut. I want this to be a vest that goes back a little ways. Looks pretty good. I have my lining on there. I'm just gonna pin the lining in place. All right, and go around to the front. And let's just cut this back. Notice I'm not cutting under the arm. I'm only cutting from about here up. If you cut down here, that means your jacket's gonna be way down here. I mean, if that's the look you want, great, but I don't. I'm gonna save this piece and fold it over to this side. If I line that up and pin it, they'll both be cut the same. We're just gonna fix one side here for you. Let's go to the sewing machine. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just leave some extra fabric. I have right sides together, about a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm making sure the lining is underneath there. And I'm just gonna start stitching going around. Now I wanna point out one thing. Because this is a stretch fabric, one thing I'm not doing is pulling this. Because if I pull this too tight, you're gonna end up with wrinkles. So I'm just gonna kinda ease this in, stitch all the way around. Now when I get to the end, I'm gonna just stop here, cut the thread. This is where it needs to meet. So just go ahead and kind of hold that together, throw a pin in there. That looks nice and tight there. I'm just gonna put that, sew myself a seam here. Get this under the machine, it's a little flimsy. You can press this open or just finger press that open and continue stitching. So that's gonna be all the way around. So see what this looks like. That's why I did a contrast. Now I'm gonna take this. You can go ahead and finish stitching that, but I wanna show you the rest of this. Take this, fold it under, and what I'm doing is I'm enclosing that's the raw edge. So let me show you from the inside. I think you'll see it better. I'm folding this and flipping it around. So this is what the inside looks like. And then the outside will look like this as well. Now this color doesn't match at all, but I wanted you to see the contrast. So I'm just gonna stitch it just for a moment, just so you can get an idea, but you'll do this all the way around. I have it flipped over. I just have it finger pressed under. You could also press this and make a nice crease. It's looking pretty good. All right, I want to just show this because you can't see what I'm folding. So here's the top. See how I have top stitching? Here's the back. I have it folded under. Looks like I missed a little bit here. I'll have to fix that. But that's the idea. You're enclosing this. Now, another option that you have, you got the idea of finishing that. Put this back up on here. Another option that you have when you do this is if you use the bias tape, you could actually fold this in. That's what I was mentioning earlier, where you could fold that in and do a nice top stitching, and then your vest wouldn't even have a trim at all. So those are a lot of options for changing a jacket into a vest. All right, now what if you want to be really on trend and then add a pair of high-waisted pants? Let me show you a really quick pattern alteration. Here's just a regular pair of pants. You can see they're skinny leg. They're about mid to low rise. So what I have here is a ruler, and you're going to give yourself a line all the way. I'm going to line this up with the grain line. Give yourself a line across. Let's see, let's move up a little bit higher here. Notice what I'm doing. I'm marking a line within the zipper area. If I were to make this line here, that means the zipper would not get taller. So to make a high-waisted pair of pants, this is actually going to be higher up on your waist. So I'm going to cut across here and cut across here and add a piece of paper. I've already done that for you. Get that out of the way. So here you can see, I've added 2 inches to both. Now look again. This is the fly area right here. If I did not add that, that means the fly, this would have extended and the fly would have stopped about here. Well, no offense, but you do have to get the pants on. So when you open this, you want to make sure that you do not alter this part of the fly, because the reason this opens is to get over your hip. So we've extended these pants up 2 inches on both. I've done the exact same thing to the fly and the fly facing upside down. But there's one more thing you need to do. You have to think of a pair of pants when it goes up on your waist. Now, not everybody's shaped the same, but your waist might go in or it might go out from your hips. So let's just say that your waist is smaller than your hips. Well, because I've extended this line here, that's not going to help me. My waist actually might be here. So you're going to want to measure around your waist where the pants are going to go and use a hip curve. Let's see if I can just get this angle. Here we go. I had it right the first time. Let's just say my waist is here. I'm going to just change that seam just a little bit, and then we'd trim that off. And you're going to do the same thing to the front and the back. So let's just say that your waist goes into here, and you want to change that. Perfect curve. And this will at least give you a start for your muslin. So you have this piece and this piece. You're going to trim this off here. And I did the same thing for the fly, but you don't need to adjust anything on the fly except for the width. There's one more thing you need to do, though, is you added 2 inches to your fly. So that means if you had, say, a 6-inch zipper that you needed, now you're going to need an 8-inch zipper. Again, make sure with this area that you don't adjust this, you start up higher. So once you try this on, you might need to taper this more. If you need to taper it more than this, if you go too far in, let's just say you needed to go in this far, that might look a little bit weird and your pants aren't going to hang real well. So you're going to give yourself another dart in the back. I know it's a lot to take in, but it's very simple to change a pair of pants to a higher waist. So other than that, buy a bigger zipper. Make sure you have this area covered. I gave you tips for the vest, and now your whole outfit is going to be on trend.